I was just, I was just thinking of potential title ideas for this video, and the one that's making me laugh is like, your trauma is your edge, right? Like, it's bold and stupid. It's true to a large extent, but it's like taking the biff bam go get 'em self-improvement entrepreneurial think tank type stuff, where it's like, get your edge, get your advantage. Yeah, let's do it. Even trauma is an advantage. Get your edge. I mean, it's very true, and I'm going to be talking about that, and it's also very funny, in a cosmic sort of sense. Yeah, to a large extent, trauma is not funny. Trauma is heavy duty. Very heavy duty. As I burp and I make it sound even less serious. But no, okay. So let's bring it back down to the basics, and I'll show you how you can, get down to the soul level and get those returns for every aspect of your life. All right, so check this out. Whether or not we want to admit it, we've all been traumatized. It could have been something as simple as, I was 1 year old, 2 years old, a balloon popped. Whoa, that freaked me out. Now, whenever I hear loud noises, it freaks me out to an extent that's slightly more than the average person. It could be something like that. Or it could be something like, I was 3 years old and, my mom gave me this glass jar of pickles, and then I carried it over to the table, and, it was on the ledge, and I tried to push it, and then it didn't make it, and then I let go. Glass got everywhere, and then it cut me, and then I saw the blood, and, now I'm especially squeamish around blood. Things like that. And then obviously there are the more heavy-duty aspects of you don't even need me to get into it. Like, you already know, and maybe you've experienced some of that personally. And it affects you on a core level, even to this day. So I'm going to be very clear that I would never, and I am not currently, downplaying things like trauma. What I am saying is, we don't have to make it a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, concurrent burden. What we can do is we can see it for what it is. We can clean it up if we choose, whether it be through therapy, through therapeutic conversation with others, through inner work, through shadow work, which is something that you can look into if you haven't already looked into it. Breath work, body work, right? There are ways to release these things slowly and surely. And now, in this point in the conversation, I'm talking to people who have at least become aware that they have their trauma, and they want to live a solid life, if not an absolutely amazing, expanding life, an ever-blooming life, right? That's what I want to get everybody into. That's what I want to have everybody encompassing. That's how I want everybody becoming. Just shedding the old, growing, bringing forth the new. If you've ever seen the pattern, you could search up a GIF image of a toroidal field, where it's kind of like an apple, where it's like constantly expanding, coming out of the core, kind of like the apple, expanding out of the core, and then going back into the bottom. But you can just imagine the going back as the recycling and making things better. And the most accurate symbolic representation would be that Taurus, that toroid, right? Where it's like it's recycling and bringing forth new things. And at the same time, imagine like just layers just coming off of it at the same time, where it's like it's doing that recycling, that expanding mechanism, right? And it's shedding some old stuff off all at the same time. So this could be us. This could be us even with trauma, right? Where it's like, I, over the years, have done a lot of shadow work, a lot of breath work, a lot of body work. I could not talk about it highly enough. I could not promote it highly enough. Breath work, body work, shadow work, journaling, just being more self-knowledgeable. Coming to terms with the clutter, the darkness, and the darkness isn't even bad stuff. It's just stuff that hasn't been paid attention to, stuff that hasn't been shown the light, right? So these aspects of ourself, there's universality to it. There is all of this going on with everyone. Everyone's got a core essence. Everyone has some form, some level of trauma. And not only is it okay, it's something that we can eventually come to terms with, see, shed light into and onto, and then benefit from. So where's the benefit? Where's the leverage? Where are my massive returns? Alright, calm down, you entrepreneurial cuck. Listen, it's in the... and then I completely forget it. No, it's in the uniqueness. So, one of the criticisms I have in therapy is, now, obviously, like anything else, there are always exceptions to the rule. But in a situation like therapy, just psychology-based work, people going by a textbook, people going by academia, there are pitfalls to it. And the core main pitfall that I want to discuss is being regimented and being by the book is not being in creation. The beauty and the power of creativity is creating or invoking and bringing forth, birthing what was not there before. The never been seen before, the never been done before, the never been talked about before. Uniqueness. This is such a valuable aspect of life. In fact, I see it, and you may see it to an extent too, as symbolic, synonymous with life. Life is creation. Life is an ever unfolding of things that have never been seen before, never been done before, never been uttered before, never been birthed before. It is being birthed. It is new. So that's the criticism I have with things like therapy and psychology-based work and academia by and large. It's you're working with textbooks, you're working with information that has been written down. Now some of these categories of information are so, you can call them ahead of its time, or just so revolutionary, just so cutting edge, but being actually produced and being actually utilized, that they can be timeless until they're not, until they're obsolete, right? They can be timeless until they're obsolete. So there's the balance point right there. Yes, got to it. Where it can be so timeless and so priceless that people utilize it for 100 plus years because, whoa, you tapped into something that is just so valuable, just so relatable on a core human basis. Just a gift from the, dare I say, the gods. But no, just a gift from humanity for humanity, just tapping into something that is just so revolutionary that people are going to be benefiting for 100 plus, if not hundreds of years, right? But we need to be skeptical in the sense of why not understand, why not be in line with the ever-blossoming aspects of creation itself. So, therefore, I want people to get really in line with that concept of creativity that we have, the uniqueness that we have, the one and one, nobody else is us, and we can give massive benefit ourselves from being extremely unique, extremely creative, because there's only one us. We can see our trauma and realize that we've had these specific life experiences, and we can utilize what we've become and give outwardly, right, as we are a walking legacy, as we're giving out our walking legacy, our uniqueness. It is a gift, a benefit to everyone that we come into contact with. And the real kicker is it can be a great benefit to all if we stop seeing our trauma as a darkness, as a burden, and more of a unique advantage. Think about it. If you liked it, check out my other stuff. I hope that your uniqueness becomes blossomed and bloomed, ever blossoming, ever blooming. This is Mac 11, Soul Invest Returns. Catch you later.